Mamma mia!
I have arrived to the city of Rome!
To arms! Everyone, women, children, cats, dogs, everyone grab spears and link to the gate!
I'll be having a toast with Scipio's skull.
Oh my god. That's a little extreme, Jeffrey.
Whatever.
Today we start the final battle of our Rome versus Carthage series. Hannibal is at the gates of Rome. Addie and I will meet him in the field. It'll all come down to this: massive armies on a sprawling plain. Who will win the day? In our pre-battle maneuvers on the campaign map, Addie and I linked up in Rome and formed a large force outside the gates. Hannibal charges forward with the largest army we have ever seen. Players have been accruing points throughout that they can spend to purchase additional units, and we saved all our points for this one defining battle. We opted to not fall back into siege and instead meet our enemy on the field. We set up the battlefield as always using the Age of Hannibal terrain system. This battlefield was loaded with small hills and rough terrain, including a marsh and several forests. There are only small sections on the left and right flank that provide optimum footing for cavalry. The kids choose to hide their camps deep in the woods, thinking the enemy will avoid them. I have them roll for initiative to see who deploys first. Rome wins and reveals its 3,550 point army, split between Addie, Scipio, and myself, Longus. Jeffrey reveals his army as 3,605 points, led by Hannibal himself with several lieutenants. It is a mixture of heavy Spanish, Celts, Numidian horsemen, and of course, his war elephants.
I deployed my army like how I deployed it because I think I have a better chance with my Latin horses though. I don't know why I put them there because they can only move 3 around steep hills, but I put them there because I think I might have a better chance of going around them, like, because I think that's my best way of attacking.
Alright, I've deployed my troops. I've split them up into 2 smaller groups, and I've set them up kind of traditionally the way the Roman maniples were set up, with wheelaties and some Latin infantry in the front, followed by the heavier troops in the back. This battlefield is tough. There's a lot of hills and rough ground, and I'm a little bit nervous about that, especially trying to move the cavalry around and actually have them be effective. They do take negative bonuses for being in rough ground. I do have my Latin horse. I'm going to try to get them through these woods and out into the open, so that way I can hopefully hit them on the flanks a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. It definitely looks like he's got a much more powerful army than ours because we're so concentrated. I think we're going to be able to make a good stand here.
I deployed 4 big main armies spread across the board. I saw that they spread out their armies, basically 4 main armies. So I want to meet them basically in the middle, just move up giant waves of guys, wave after wave after wave, just overwhelm them, and finally, after waves and waves, hopefully be able to take them down.
Both sides' morale clock will start at 10, and we begin our first movement phase with Carthage kicking us off, and my son Jeffrey moving his skirmishers forward to attack. Addie and myself have to split the 10 movements we are allowed from the morale clock, and we begin to move forward our skirmishers as well. Addie moves her skirmishers and Latin allies forward into one of the only patches of clear terrain on the board. You can feel the tension as the 2 enemies come within shooting range.
We'll take shots at your study.
In Age of Hannibal, shooting is resolved using an 8-sided dice, and then you reference a simple shooting table for results. Jeffrey begins to fire at the Roman hastati, causing a few hits. He continues to move his troops forward in large lines. In Age of Hannibal, units that are touching on the sides may all move forward using the same point of movement. This allows greater forces to attack, but makes maneuvering large formations difficult. His elephants and Balearic slingers hit the Roman hastati on the left flank, killing a stand but losing several units of skirmishers. Addie brings up her legion on the left to meet the Carthaginian army in the center, and on the right I begin to bring up my men to engage his war elephant and skirmishers that have been pestering me. The fighting is fierce, and Jeffrey manages to get enough hits to lower the Roman morale clock to 9.
I think start moving these cavalry.
My plan is to annihilate and destruct. I will tear down everything that they have built up.
I'm managing to hold on the right side of the board, and Addie moves in a full cavalry charge against Hannibal's war elephant.
Even though he's wiped out a couple of my units, I still think that we could still team up and win together. I still feel pretty confident about myself.
So far, there's been a lot of action in the middle, all skirmishers for the most part. There's some Latin infantry that have died here and there, and we did have our morale clock lowered down to 9. So that is a little bit concerning, but right now, I mean, once the big armies get stuck in, then we're probably going to start seeing those morale clocks dropping significantly on both sides. But right now, I feel pretty good about the start because it's been action-packed, but not a lot of hits. So, to the morale clock. We'll see. And maybe I spoke too soon. Addie's troops are being harassed by the Numidian light cavalry, and on my side, that pesky elephant is back. We are getting hit all around by skirmishers and horsemen, enough to drop our morale clock again down to 8.
It's going pretty well. That round was pretty devastating towards the Romans. It was probably my best round yet. I got 10 clicks, and I got docked towards their morale clock. So now they're at 8. They're sharing the morale, so they're both have 4 moves. I'm in pretty good position. I'm still at 10. I'm gonna try to move up the reserves now and just try to destroy the rest of their army.
The Roman dead are starting to add up, and we push hard to attack the elephants on both ends of the battlefield. Jeffrey's skirmishers continue to clash with my cohort on the right, and I force his elephant off in a panic once again. Addie's cavalry is getting destroyed on the left flank, and she continues to take hits from Jeffrey's skirmishers in the center. Jeffrey begins moving his reserves up on my right side. It is a large force, consisting of Libyan spearmen, Celts, and Iberian horse. He is beginning to outmaneuver me on the right, and lowers our morale clock again, down to 7 this time. Alright, baby girl. So, we're in a bit of a situation. We're not doing so well. What do you think is our strategy going forward? What should we be doing?
Maybe we should team up.
Yeah, I'm gonna come over to you. Things are starting to get desperate. Jeffrey almost immediately wins another round and lowers our morale clock again to 6. I'm trying to get my whole legion up over a large hill to join Addie in the center, but movement is slow as we only have 3 moves each to use. But Addie does manage to kill the war elephants on the left and wounds one of Jeffrey's lieutenants, sending him running from the battlefield. The Roman dead are piling up, and we are doing everything we can to hold on, including trying to please the gods with a war cheer. Hannibal rides in with his war elephants and personal guard to engage in the center as my men continue the slog up the hill in an attempt to reinforce Scipio. Hannibal himself crashes into Scipio and his triarii in the rear of the formation. He surrounds the unit Scipio is attached to, but the triarii spears have a +1 versus mounted troops, and she is able to hold on well enough to lower the Carthaginian morale clock to 9. Scipio then goes on the offensive, hitting Hannibal from the side with his spears, but Hannibal has a strong bonus to his elephant's combat and is able to hold on. Alright, at this point, I feel like the battle is taking a slight shift in momentum. Even though the skirmishers really did a number on us and we lost almost all of ours, now that our main army is getting stuck into combat in certain areas, we're starting to see it kind of become like a stalemate. Scipio and Hannibal are locked in combat currently. So far, Hannibal very hard to get a hit on. We have him as a +3 in combat, so we'll see how it plays out. But I feel like it's going to be a little bit stagnant for a minute. So we'll see. Anything could change in the blink of an eye.
Scipio, I have finally been able to take off some of his morale clock and bring it down to 9 by myself. I think, personally, I think I'm doing pretty good. But at the same time, we have lost a lot of guys and it's got very bloody.
I know they said it was a stalemate, but it won't be for much longer because I have a plan. A plan to destroy everybody in that legion over there.
As casualties continue to mount on both sides, my legion makes to the top of the hill. They look down and see a blood-soaked battlefield below. Hannibal continues to pursue Scipio, looking to take his head, and at this time, the tyrant of Syracuse arrives as reinforcements for the Carthaginian.
Here's a situated update. The Romans are getting destroyed. I'm going into first grade tomorrow.
Jeffrey and Frank continue to pound the Romans in the center. We have lost more troops than we still have active on the field, and our morale clock is down to 3. No matter what we try, we are unable to take Hannibal down as we use our final few movements to engage him. All hope is lost, and we are heavily demoralized. The Romans' morale clock is down to 3, probably dropping to 2 after this turn. We've taken a ton of casualties, and Hannibal still has basically an entire army in reserve. And so at this point, we're calling the game as a total Carthaginian victory for the campaign of Rome versus Carthage.
Okay, so unfortunately, I lost. And I think that during all the other episodes, losing was kind of actually fun for some reason, in my opinion. Even if I'm not called a winner, I'll still be remembered as someone who fighted.
I thought the campaign was awesome. I loved playing with. I loved the way the miniatures looked. I loved the way I was able to grow as a wargamer. How I was able to have better strategies, learning from different battles, and overall, I think it was just one of the funnest experiences I've ever had with wargaming.
I think it went very great. Make sure to subscribe.
Thank you for joining us in HomeFront Wargaming.
If you like this video, make sure to check out our other videos in this series.
Join us in the comments below.
Bye. Bye.